Supersonic's money transfer is giving you an unbeatable bonanza from now until the end of October. Yes! From now till the end of October, you stand a chance of winning a bag of rice when you receive monies in the Gambia from UK, Europe, USA, Canada and Switzerland with Supersonic's money transfer. Amazing! So from now till the end of October, every time you receive monies in the Gambia from UK, Europe, USA, Canada and Switzerland, you stand a chance of winning a bag of rice. Only 100 bags available, so hurry now and be part of the 100 lucky winners in this special unbeatable bonanza from now until the end of October with Supersonic's money transfer. Enjoy our safe, fast, reliable and convenient money transfer service with the largest payout network in the Gambia with charges starting from $0. Yes! Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonic's money transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics. The unbeatable bonanza with Supersonics.
Gttv News. I am Aisa Tukuli and thanks for joining us. First, the headlines. In local, international, Gambia registered 1 new death and 12 new cases of COVID-19. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Barrow, on Thursday delivers his nation address at the National Assembly. The draft constitution got its second reading at the National Assembly. The Gambia Press Union reacts to the action of denying some journalists access to the National Assembly chambers. ECOWAS leaders failed to reach an agreement with Mali junta leaders for a peaceful transition of powers to a civilian government. Now the news in details. Stay tuned. In details. Gambia registered 1 new death, bringing the total number of confirmed deaths to 108. 12 new cases registered, bringing the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 3,485. There are 1,404 active cases, 433 probable cases. The country currently has 10 people in quarantine and 1,973 recoveries. On to our next story. President Barrow said the impact of the coronavirus has hindered his government's expectation for effective progress at his nation address at the Parliament. Our Lamin MCC files in this report.
President Barrow arrived at the National Assembly to deliver a constitutionally mandatory State of the Nation address, outlining the government achievements and challenges during the year on the review and plans for the coming year. Former and current government officials were present, political party leaders, religious leaders, and National Assembly members, amongst others. His address was centered on the challenges of his government on the COVID-19 pandemic and its impacts for his effective progress. He said this year's address should be appreciated within the context of the unit of global pandemic and a crisis of tragic consequences. The pandemic has distracted his plans, hopes, and expectations. What is evident is that the Gambia, a small country, is not left alone to face ravages of the pandemic.
My address presents the successes and challenges of a country that was on a steep rise towards economic boom and socio-political transformation when the unexpected struck. This was the sudden outbreak and rapid spread of the coronavirus, COVID-19. It is an address which attempts to duly highlight my government's achievements and the ever-increasing devastation and impact of the pandemic on the economy and life in the Gambia. It is also an address which should be appreciated within the context of a unique global pandemic and a crisis of tragic consequences. The address highlights a calamity that has dwindled resources, disrupted plans and schedules, and shattered hopes and expectations. This is a crisis that has taken the world by storm and remains
as the whole world struggles to deal with the current situation of the pandemic. According to President Adam Barrow, the pandemic has impacted greatly on the economic and social life of the people. He promised his government through the Ministry of Health to provide affordable and quality health care service, particularly during hardship or calamities.
That's it. It's not working. Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable National Assembly, Banjul, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, honorable religious leaders, service chiefs, senior government officials, members of the media, fellow Gambians, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it is my honor and pleasure to deliver this annual address to the honorable members of this august assembly.
He used the occasion to again appeal to Gambians to remain united and concentrate their attention to matters that will advance the country's development. Deputies will debate on the President's address next week. Reporting for Gttv News, I am Lamin MCC.
The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Gov'T Barrow, on Wednesday moved a motion for a second reading of the bill in the new draft constitution. Almarijan Adom has this report. This session gave the members of the parliament a chance to debate on the motion for a second reading following the first reading on Monday. Gov'T Barrow, the Minister of Justice, says the objects of the bill seeks to promote the promulgation of the 2020 Constitution of the Gambia and repeal the 1997 Constitution. This followed by hours-long debate on the general merits and principles of the debate, attacking divergent views and reservations on both sides of the House on different issues contained in the draft. Deputies comment on the draft of the bill, the Constitutional Review Commission for coming up with such document, which they say represents the views and aspirations of Gambians. The provisions in the draft, such as term limits and confirmation of appointments by Parliament, are aspects lawmakers say will lay the foundation to enhance democratic views and principles.
That's a mundane instrument. We move away from that up to the 1970 Constitution, giving you the authority to determine your manner of existence. To the 1997, and now we're thinking of moving forward. It moves qualitatively from one stage to another. That's what development is all about. So we are here today about development, Honorable Speaker. That's the object. The object is to move forward. And we must ask ourselves the question, do we have the instrument that can help us to move to the next stage? We'll continue to move to higher and higher stages. We will never get there because development will always be higher and higher stage.
We asked them to go and work on it with the separations of power. Honorable Speaker, nobody, no genuine Gambian will tell you that we're not in support of this draft constitution. No, we are not saying that we're not supporting this. But we are saying that we have an observation on this draft constitution that needs to be addressed. Simple. Honorable Speaker, we talk about the term limit. Nobody will tell you that they are not in support of the two-term limit of the president. Nobody is saying that. But what we are denying here, what we are saying here, is that what I am saying is that I am not going to support any retroactive law. Mark my words, this is what I say. I am not saying that I am not supporting the two-term limit of the president. And this is the key, this is important. We need to know this.
No other idea, you have no other suggestion, but to tell the individuals who are out there, your electorate, I mean, because we are seeing what is going on, Honorable Speaker. Having accepted this, at the end of the day, you go out there, start campaigning people to vote against this, it means you are actually jeopardizing the will of the Gambian people. Because considering the fact that 70% or 75% of the people out there are not educated, they are not aware of this, and it is your duty. It is our responsibility to enlighten people, to educate people, to let them know what actually this document entails. You fail to do that, you have nothing to do but to poison the mind of the people, the electorate out there, to vote against this constitution. History will judge you for that.
While the process is still ongoing, the draft constitution is said to be a progressive one. It is hoped that the draft will implement it, and if adopted, bearing in mind that the millions spent on the process. 42 members must vote in favor for this bill to pass for a referendum. After a group of journalists denied access to the chambers of the National Assembly to cover the third ordinary session of the newly draft constitution, the Gambia Press Union on Wednesday organized a press conference to update the media on the positions of the union. More on this report. Houses that were denied access in the chambers of the National Assembly to cover the third ordinary session of the draft constitution said they were discriminatory and disappointed when the Minister of Justice appeared before lawmakers to table out the draft constitution bill. At the press conference, Sirif Bojan Jr., the president of the union, described the act as disappointing and unacceptable. Mr. Bojan said the union was not aware of such and there was no communication means from the assembly to limit the number of media houses from covering such historic event. He added that there was no blame attached to the three media houses.
Authorities came to the conclusion that the public, parliament proceedings, the public is not open to the public, and that includes the media. But then my assumption at that time, and my firm belief at that time would be, if the parliament is going to come up with this policy or this decision, at least there could have been some sort of consultation, meeting, or even inform the stakeholders, in this case media chiefs, the GPU, journalists, about this development prior to Monday. We felt this was an obligation, the parliament or anybody who wants to take such a decision, to inform people, to get people on board, to negotiate, to discuss. And my firm belief is that perhaps there wouldn't have been any problem, because what the director of communication told me was that they were doing this purely, and he said 100% on health grounds, because of the COVID-19, and he said Even the sitting arrangements of parliamentarians on the floor has been changed to give room for broader social distancing, and they didn't want to congest the floor. And so we spoke for about half an hour. My position was that, and my firm belief, and the belief of the GP, and the position of the GP at the time was that stopping journalists from covering anything, not just this country, but all over the world, in the name of safety, is the last resort anybody can do, anybody can take.
Sheriff Boja reveals that the GPU was aware that there will be limitations for distancing in the chambers of the assembly. He further added that in such instances, the most suitable thing is to have a prior discussion to ensure all media houses are accommodated. Bojang said when the union receives complaints from the journalists on the ground, immediately they engage the officials at the National Assembly to give access to all media houses coming to cover the proceedings. The end result of the meeting with the head of communication at the clerk of the house is that the auditorium.
Is there any way, the first option is to have any journalists who want to go on the floor to have access to the floor and cover from the floor. But that wasn't possible. You know, they said at the moment there is no, even the sitting arrangements change, and there is no space for even journalists to sit. Even diplomatic community, I mean, I was told it's only one person, the dean of the diplomatic community will represent the diplomatic community. The Justice Department, it will be the Chief Justice. So they're limiting everything to just 1-2 people from anywhere else. But then the other option became, how about the auditorium inside the parliament? To make sure there is live feed at the auditorium where journalists can go and then take their feed and work and monitor the parliament from there. Of course, I know a lot of journalists who want to be on the floor. So this would have to be a last resort, getting to the auditorium and working from there. The difference between that and being at home and office is that you are still in the parliament building and you have the opportunity when people come out, like MPs, you interview them, you go and interview.
Will be available for journalists to cover the proceedings. Mustafa Mbai, head of ethics at the Gambia Press Union, said the constitution does not discriminate anybody, and what the National Assembly did is not in line with the constitution. Reporting for G. Now to internationals. The Mali junta leaders failed to come to an agreement with the opposition coalition for a peaceful transition after overthrowing Boubacar Keita, their former president. More on this. As negotiations are still ongoing between ECOWAS leaders and junta for peaceful transition to a civilian government, the recent meeting between the junta members and the opposition ended in a stalemate. The opposition rejected the military's request to have either a civilian or a military transition. On Tuesday, the military junta met with African leaders in Ghana to outline key issues to transfer power into a civilian rule. However, both sides failed to reach to an agreement. The spokesman, Ismail Wage, said they are in contact with civil society, opposition parties, the majority, and everyone to try to set the transition in place. Former President Boubacar Keita, Prime Minister Cisse, and other top government officials are still detained, and their release is a key demand of Mali's neighboring countries, as well as the African Union, European Union. This is all we have for you in today's bulletin, but before we take leave of you, let's recap of the day's main stories. Gambia registered 1 new death and 12 new cases of COVID-19. His Excellency, the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Barrow, on Thursday delivered his nation address at the National Assembly. The draft constitution got its second reading at the National Assembly. The Gambia Press Union reacts to the actions of denying some journalists access to the National Assembly chambers. ECOWAS leaders failed to reach an agreement with Mali junta leaders for a peaceful transition of powers to a civilian government. This is all we have for you in today's bulletin. Do join us tomorrow for another bulletin, but until then, do stay safe.
Supersonic's money transfer is giving you an unbeatable bonanza from now until the end of October. Yes! From now till the end of October, you stand a chance of winning a bag of rice when you receive monies in the Gambia from UK, Europe, USA, Canada and Switzerland with Supersonic's money transfer. Amazing! So from now till the end of October, every time you receive monies in the Gambia from UK, Europe, USA, Canada and Switzerland, you stand a chance of winning a bag of rice. Only 100 bags available, so hurry now and be part of the 100 lucky winners in this special unbeatable bonanza from now until the end of October with Supersonic's money transfer. Enjoy our safe, fast, reliable and convenient money transfer service with the largest payout network in the Gambia with charges starting from $0. Yes! Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics money transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics. The unbeatable bonanza with Supersonics.